Hey, hand me that crowbar because we are breaking in to somebody's radio station today. I am Jeff, the radio DJ dude, and I know you love this stuff. One of your favorite features is when we do these station spotlights. We go behind the scenes of people just like you, and they show us around, give us a virtual tour of their cool radio stations. This hopefully inspires you. If you haven't already flipped the switch on your station, well, these people have done it, and they've got some cool tips to share.
We are on the air.
But what I don't want you to get hung up on is how cool some of their studios looks. This guy that we're profiling today, oh my goodness, I had to get the drool cup out. I was a mess. Definitely had a case of studio envy. But at the end of the video, I'm going to let you take a peek into my home studio and to show you, you don't really need anything. You can do a whole lot with a very little equipment, and that's the point. But enough preamble. I can't wait for you to meet Fast Bobby. He's a guy from Long Island, New York, and now he's very far away out in the Philippines. And his radio station, RetroRocks.net, really took me by surprise. I mean, a lot of you share your station info with me, and I tune in, and I love what you're doing. And admittedly, I'm a tough critic, and every once in a while, I'm just floored at what you're doing. And Fast Bobby just had my ears spinning. I actually listened for a couple hours, and I definitely encourage you to check out RetroRocks.net. He has got this thing fine-tuned. The imaging sounds banging, just the mix of music. This is a great example of how to do online radio right.
Your boss thinks you're working, but we know better. Rock on, slacker. Retro Rocks. It's a no-repeat workday where you'll never hear the same song. Hold it. Save that line for the Mix FM station you work for.
Other stations brag about not repeating.
We brag about not sucking.
Retro Rocks.
And even better, Fast Bobby pretty much edited the whole video together for me. So that definitely put it to the top of the queue. So I'm just going to toss it to Fast Bobby. He could tell us about his life, his journey, and then eventually take us for a tour around Retro Rocks.
Hello, Jam and Jeff Scott. It's Fast Bobby here. And I want to say thank you for allowing me to spend some time on your channel with you. I've been a big fan of it, and I'm like, wow, something we've needed for a very long time. A channel that helps people who do what we do, answer some questions, provide some really cool content, and I always look forward to your videos. So thank you for that. Kudos. A little bit about me. I am born and raised in New York, retired. I now live in the Philippines. My wife and I built our house here. I built this room specifically to be a studio, so I'm very happy with my setup here now. My broadcast background started in radio in college back in 1975, long time ago, and first professional job was down in Central Florida, Titusville, Florida, at WRMF.
Rob worked on a couple more stations, but by 81, that writing was on the wall. Radio was a roller coaster, too little stability, so he bails for TV, much like I did, and spent 20 years directing news and sports. As you know, once that radio bug bites, it doesn't let go. It kept pulling him back. So in the 90s, he's back on the air and eventually doing 7 shifts a week over at Sirius satellite radio until Howard Stern comes along.
And my boss, Kid Kelly, came up to me one day and said, we're doing some cutbacks. Stern is starting, big contract. We're getting rid of all the night jocks.
Ah, yes, cutbacks, the cliche ending to most of our radio careers. Now, that was 2005, so I'm wondering what kind of lit your fuse to start RetroRocks.net?
From 2005 until 2020, 15 years, I only dreamed about radio. And we had the pandemic came along. I worked from home at the time, had a lot of free time on my hands. So I fired up a radio station. What I love about internet radio is the freedom to do what I think, especially musically. My station plays classic hits and classic rocks from the 60s through the 80s. You don't hear 60s and 70s music, especially the classic rock. Even the classic rock stations, like in New York, it's 80s and 90s, few mixed in 70s. But I go back to the 60s again. People are forgetting about the Beatles. People are forgetting about the Zombies and all the great music from the 60s, the Motown from the 60s. So I like to keep all that alive. And so my radio station is centered around that.
Okay, we can't wait any longer, Fast Bobby. Popcorn is popped. The flasks are full. Take us for a tour around your station.
This is my console. It's an Arrakis Arc 10 console. I've had it now for 5 years. It's been trouble-free. I love it. It has everything I need here. It's got 3 banks like a radio console would. It's got air, it's got program, and it's got audition. So this console is always live on the air. When I want to do production, I do it in Audition. So it affords me that. I have a single computer down here that runs this radio station. It runs, I'm using Playout 1 standard software. It's not free like RadioDJ is, but it's reasonably priced. Over here, the guts of this thing is this audio interface back there. It's a Behringer UMC 1820. Lots of inputs and outputs. This device back here. For processing on my radio station, I use Stereo Tool. I couldn't recommend it more. It's a great piece of kit. This is the mic processors. There's 2 mic processors here. And this is a remote control panel for my dual CD player, which is here. This is a mini disc player. It's a Denon mini disc player. I use it because I've got a ton of sound cuts and all kinds of stuff on here. When I do production, I use it. All my air checks from all the old stations are here, and all of these come up in this patch bay that I just recently put in. It's the last thing. My studio is complete now. The last 2 pieces of gear in this rack are this composer and this compeller, the Aphex compeller. This is an audio leveler. Usually you run this before you send the signal to the your final, like an FM Optimod or whatever it is that you're processing with. This auto levels your sound before you put it into that final processor. And this is that final processor for me. It's cheap. It's not I had this laying around, but it works. And what it does is it gives me the ability to listen to air. Because when I do a live show, I don't like doing a show in program audio. I want to do it and listen to air and have that pop and have that, that oomph behind me. Oh yeah, the one last piece here. Again, if you want to start a radio station, you could do it as simple as this. This is another computer. It's an old computer. It's actually the original PC that I ran the station on back in the day when I first put it up. It now is my backup. So these two computers are in lockstep. They're exactly the same. If I want to bring this system down to update Playout 1, to update Windows, or to do work on this console, I just switch over to here, and this goes out straight to the internet. There's no audio console. I can't go live from here. It's just going to play the radio station, and that's what you can get started with. Just a simple computer, your choice of your Playout software, and send it up and send it out. Pretty simple stuff. My studio itself is, houses here in the Philippines are all made of concrete. So internal walls, external walls, all of it is concrete. So you can see I've got a lot of sound, panels and all kinds of stuff here. The bass traps that are in each corner, because I initially had all kinds of, it was really, really live in this room. Lots of noise. It didn't sound like a studio. It sounded like a bathroom. So with the concrete walls, I needed to do all of this work there. Those are sound curtains against the back wall there. So it's been a year, and I'm finally completely done with it, and couldn't be happier. It sounds great. It's really functional. So that is it. That is a tour of the radio station. I hope you found it interesting. I also find it interesting to see others. I hope others are encouraged by this.
If you're looking to fire up a classic rock or decades-based internet radio station, you can't go wrong tuning into RetroRocks.net for inspiration. He's just got this thing so fine-tuned and lubed up.
Retro Rocks.
Playing the music you grew up with.
Before responsibility ruin your life.
What can you leave us with, Fast Bobby? What advice do you have for someone who's interested in trying this nutty thing called radio on their own?
Well, that really depends on who you are and what your reasons are for wanting to do it. Don't waste time. That's the one thing, without knowing anything else, my advice to you is if it's something you want to do, get started. Get it on the air and get yourself going. That's the best advice I can give you. If you don't have money for equipment, you could do it really, really cheap. You don't have to spend a lot of money.
Fast Bobby, you are awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your slice of retro rocks with us. And again, thank you for shooting and editing most of that video. Now, yes, his studio is just a barn burner. It's a show place. And I don't want that to intimidate you. I don't want you to think that you have to amass all this expensive radio gear and have a really sweet studio in your house before you get started. Heck no. Wipe that from your brain right now. I don't want expensive gear to be the hurdle that stands in the way of doing something that you potentially are going to love, that gets in the way of you fulfilling your passion to start an online radio station. Because you look at my studio and I am an example of how to do the very most with the very least. Open the door. When I decided to embark on this nutty journey of online radio, coming from a traditional FM background in major markets for 20 plus years, I always thought online radio was kind of like the ugly stepsister of real radio. So it took me a long time to embrace this, but I'm so happy I did because I've really, renewed my passion for something that I loved for so many decades of my life. And I hope you feel the same and you derive the same benefits from starting an online station. But when I jumped in, I didn't want to spend a ton of money. And I stumbled upon the very free, the very full-featured playout software called RadioDJ. Hey, that's part of my name. That's why I started the channel. And this software is a great way to shorten the distance between your dream and your reality. But it's PC based. I'm a Mac guy. But in the garage, I had a dusty old PC laptop. Very little firepower, not supercharged. It was old, probably, 8 to 10 years old. But it was enough to get me going. So again, don't let expensive gear stand in your way. I just feel somewhere in our house or garage or the gutter is an old dusty PC laptop that we could resurrect, fire up, and make that the first stepping stone to getting our stations on the air. Then after that, if you don't have one, maybe you make an investment in a low cost but somewhat quality USB microphone. You don't have to have the fanciest mic like a RE20, which is kind of expensive. No. Sometimes good is good enough. And these mics here from Fifine, which I've reviewed before on the channel, they just make it so easy to plug and play, and they sound good enough. With the right processing, if you use a free audio processing tool like Stereo Tool, boom, your station's gonna sound great right out of the gate. And if you're new to rocking a mic, well, hey, jump into my very free RadioDJ 101 email course. I've got 5, 6, 7 lessons I'm gonna deliver straight to your inbox to fast track your success on mic, just to get you more comfortable on the mic, develop some confidence. And it's free, and it's right down there. Links in the description. I invite you to jump in if you haven't already gone through this course. I tell you, it's pretty full-featured. I'm giving a ton away. It's all that I have sopped up like a broadcasting sponge throughout my career over the past 3 decades. It's all about just transferring the excitement and passion that I have for radio over to you, and you'll see if it fits. But check that course out. Don't let anything stand in your way, because you need far less than you think to make your online radio station a reality. But of course, use Fast Bobby's RetroRocks.net or my station, XXX80s.com, as inspiration. Take a listen and you could see what is possible. And what is possible with very little, like in my case. Okay, I hope that got you fired up. Again, thank you, Fast Bobby. And if you have a station you're just bubbling over with pride and would love to share and would love to be in the next station spotlight, well, come on, reach out. I'd love to hear all about your station. I am Jeff, the Radio DJ Dude, and if this one flipped your switch by at least 8%, well, I'd love a like and subscribe from you. Thank you very much. And until our next little radio rendezvous, you keep rocking those mics all over the world.